Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Sunday morning. With us like every Sunday is Governor David Paterson with his common sense message, whether it's for a city or state or country. Well, Governor Paterson has a lot of common sense. Well, Governor Paterson, what are you getting off your chest this morning?
Well, John, I had the privilege all the way back in 1983 for working for the Queens District Attorney's Office under supervision. And my job, along with the people in my unit, was to determine whether or not defendants could understand the charges against them and whether or not they could assist in their own defense. And these units were set up all around the city to try to stop the situations with people with mental health issues committing crimes. And the question was, do they know the difference between right and wrong? I think that we're starting to see a replication of that. Michael Katz is writing about it in the Post, and others are talking about it. After the killing of the person a week ago, not this past Thursday, but the week before, when he was released from one of these institutions. Now, the Mental Health Information Service has always recommended that before a patient is released, that there has to be some kind of process. You just don't look at him and say, oh, he's smiling today. He must be happy. He won't bother anyone. And we're finding out the hard way that we don't have enough people to actually work in that particular area. So I would really hope that Mayor Mondani and the borough presidents and the city council looks at this, because there are very dangerous people walking down the street. Someone passed me on the street 2 days ago, and we were just passing each other, and he pointed and said, why don't you move over? And I'm in the middle of the sidewalk, he's in the middle of the other sidewalk, and he wants me to move over. These are the types of people that when you walk around you run into it. But more seriously, it's the type of problem that is going to be manifest if we have to start spending all kinds of money on the repair of our inability to keep people who have mental disease or disability hidden from the public.
Now, Governor, I mean, we've been around for a while. There's some people that are never going to be cured.
Oh, that's absolutely true. And that's
what we have to. Somebody has to make the determination. There are certain people, maybe 1/4%. You know, if we have 8.5 million people in New York City, what's 1% is what?
1% is going to be 80,000.
80,000. So we have maybe a half of 1%.
So that would be 40,000.
That will never be cured, and you can't leave them among civilized people.
You can't even, in many respects, leave them around other people like themselves, because they will inevitably attack each other. And it's a really sad situation, because sometimes these people got in this condition not by things that they actually did, but by trauma, abuse by parents, living in bad neighborhoods and having poor, situations where they were violently attacked. But as much as we do have to have concern for those people, we also have to be concerned about 8.5 million people who live in New York City who really don't want to be exposed to this type of problem. And I just hope that the explanations that were given a week ago Thursday for why that individual was let out of an institution is updated and corrected the next time something like this happens.
You're absolutely right. And, there's two categories here. One category is mentally ill. And the other category is the repeat offenders in crime. And maybe there might be a 1/4 of 1% or half of 1% of each category.
And one of the things, John, is many people who are mentally ill are not violent. They have mental issues, but they do have a situation where they can't deal with issues of society. So they wind up out in the cold and exposed and in difficult situations when they really are not intending to hurt other people, but almost are forced that way because they're not the services that can assist them.
Where do we go from here, Governor? I mean, and the other thing that I'm really upset about, some of these judges, they allow these people back in the street again, and they go out back in the street, and they kill people, and they hurt people.
I sometimes wonder if the judges are men and women like you and me. They have feelings, they notice things, but when you watch this over a long period of time, you start to ferret out the ones who you don't think are really that dangerous from the ones who are. And all I'm saying is many of these reports that you can read on the individuals when they come into court should make it very clear whether or not they should be let out or not. Why they get let out in spite of the reports is a little bit of a mystery to me.
And Governor, let's digest it. Let's see what else we can do about it. And thank you for putting it on the main screen on Sunday morning.
Thank you, John.